it's Nate Carver, your favorite mortgage guy on Between Two Doors. And today we're talking to Blayke Breeding with Goosehead Insurance Company. And I'm going to give you a quick bio on her, and then we're going to jump into some conversations on insurance for first-time home buyers and insurance people looking to buy a home. If you've ever had any questions, I think you're going to enjoy this podcast. Hey, I'm Nate Carver, and welcome to Between Two Doors. Blayke, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today? Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I'm doing good. For the recording, it's Friday, so a long work week, good work week. We're going to celebrate and maybe clock out soon. So you're with Goosehead and you're enjoying that experience, being an agent there. Tell me from your perspective what your 30,000 view of the insurance industry for housing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with Goosehead for about a year now. And from the point that I started to the point that we're out at now, all I can say is that it is like the stock market in the way that it fluctuates so much. You see it go up one month and then it's down the next, and it's very, very unpredictable. I think that's why it's important to have people that you can ask questions and trust, because it really does change like week to week, as far as being able to get the best prices and coverage and things like that. So I'm really enjoying it. I love being able to provide coverage to people's livelihoods. I love being able to help people out, but it definitely is, it's kind of a hard market right now for sure.
Mm-hmm. What drove you to the insurance world? Is there something that this is why I want to do this? Coming from a ranch, I'm curious to know what you made that leap to.
Yeah, so I'm going to be honest. It came to whenever I was graduating from college, I thought that I wanted to work in politics. And then quickly after an internship that I had, I figured out maybe not right after college, that's what I want to do. I just kind of wanted to find a job, and I came across Goosehead. I really enjoyed everybody that I met and the conversations that I had. And then after talking to my family about it for some time, it's one of those jobs where no matter what happens, as far as the political side, sickness, disease, anything that's uncertain, no matter what, at the end of the day, people have to have home insurance. And so it was a steady job to go into, and I really enjoy it now.
Nice. All right. So let's dive into homeowners insurance 101. For someone buying their first home, are you seeing trends and questions that they're asking you that they may not understand, or that homeowners insurance, what it's actually covering for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I honestly work mostly with first-time home buyers. And the way that I've kind of set my process up is to walk through everything as much as possible. And sometimes I feel like I can be a little exhaustive, and I'm sure that they want me to stop talking and just get off the phone and just move on. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that they know what kind of coverage they have. If I wasn't in the insurance world, I wouldn't know what any of the terminology means. I wouldn't know what the coverage is doing. I would feel like I'm just paying for something that's kind of useless. And so I feel like just being able to understand what you're getting and how the price correlates with that coverage.
Mm-hmm. Like the difference between the actual cash value
Yes.
and then the cost to replace.
Yes, replacement cost and actual cash value, deductible amounts. So how much, of course, the clients are going to be paying out of pocket in the event that something does happen and they have to file a claim. Of course, market value here in Texas versus how much the policy's actually covering for. What I see a lot, especially here in Dallas, is we'll have an insurance quote that covers their home for $420,000 and they bought their home for 660, and I have to explain to them that, it's covering it based on the square footage of the home, the building materials of the home, just kind of the basics. It has nothing to do with the land that they're buying. It has nothing to do with the location. It is if you were to have a total loss on that home, what it would cost to completely replace it.
Mm-hmm. Understand. Cool. How about the cost of a policy? Do you get questions on the policy cost and any kind of factors that might play into the premium?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like usually once I go over the coverage amounts with my clients, they understand. And plus, I do have the benefit because I'm an independent broker to shop the entire market. And so usually whatever price I come up with them, it's the best one that I was able to find. But of course, hiring your deductibles will lower your premium. Making sure that, if you did anything to your home, you're telling your agent that, and they're able to apply those discounts. If you got your roof replaced, tell your agent that. That makes insurance a lot cheaper. If you got an alarm installed through Vivint or something and it's alerting the police, that gives you discounts. Of course, like bundling your autos, that can give you discounts as well. I would just ask as many questions as you can about discounts because there's a plethora of them. And of course, you want to apply it if you're already paying for something.
I see the roof age. Can you talk a little bit on the age of a home? I see that a lot on loans when we get the appraisals or the inspections back, and that's a big ticket item. One, it can be costly depending on what they have to do, but the
Mhm.
value there to their insurance policy. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, what we're seeing, especially here in Texas, especially North Texas, we get a lot of hailstorms. We get a lot of tornadoes and windstorms. So, you might go out and purchase this roof from a roofer, and he says that it's a 30-year-old roof or 30-year-long roof. It's going to last for 30 years.
Mhm.
The reality of that is it's probably going to last for 10 under the conditions that we have here. It might last 30 years in Arizona, but it's not going to last 30 years in Dallas or Fort Worth. And so I will say that a lot of insurance companies in Texas, especially in this area, and I mean, I do a lot of work in Oklahoma too. It's very similar up there. They base it off of the claims that they see in the zip code. And I will say that a lot of insurance companies will switch over to actual cash value coverage on roofs after 10 or 15 years. Of course, it depends on the carrier, but they are getting a little bit stricter on that just because the age of the roof has a huge factor. That's a big payout for an insurance company whenever it comes down to it.
Right. I've seen it even where, of course, city ordinances play into this. City and county ordinances play in just a little bit, but you'll have a roof that's been replaced and they didn't pull permits. That could be a big problem. So if you're a homeowner, you're going to sell your home, pull permits. If you got a place or a roof, pull permits.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
things
I mean,
pays
yeah,
off.
yeah, for sure. I mean, we have carriers who, I mean, you could verbally tell me, oh, I replaced my roof last year,
Mhm.
2024. And I'm like, that's great. Like, your insurance premium's going to go down a ton. Or even new home owners. I'm like, that's the best news I could hear. I'm going to put that in there. It's going to make insurance a lot cheaper for us. Well, say if something happened in, next year and you had to file a claim and you didn't, either keep those documents of the roof replacement or get those from the seller, you could run into an issue. Of course, it's not me out there doing the inspection or, handling the claim, but you could run into an issue with the claims of the insurance company. And
Mhm.
they're just like, well, there's no proof. Yeah, your roof looks new, but you don't have any proof that it was replaced in 2024. How do we know it was? So just make sure that if it is new, or you just paid to replace it, keep those documents because they'll want
Mhm.
to see that and you want to be able to get as much money out of them as possible whenever it comes to filing a claim.
All right. So we talked about the roof. What are a couple of other items if you're looking out at homes to buy? What could that potential buyer be aware of when they're looking at homes, that if they're thinking about insurance and keeping their premium costs down, other key things in the home that they might be keen to look into?
Yes, of course. So I would say again, biggest thing is going to be updates. If you're kind of shopping the market and you're in between a newer build home or an older build home, I always say opt in for insurance likes newer build homes. Everything's new. We don't have to worry about things being faulty because they're older and things not working and you eventually having to file a claim on them. Newer is better in the eyes of insurance. But if you are shopping for an older home, I would make sure that your plumbing has been updated and is up to code. Your electrical has been updated and is up to code, as well as HVAC, and then roof as well, and just being able to have those documentations of that.
Mhm.
Even if it is older, if it has all of those updates, it usually ends up being cheaper because you're able to provide that information.
Simple replacement of a hot water heater.
Hmm.
I've seen that just bring that insurance down, and that hot water heaters not very much compared to the
Yeah. I mean,
other
it's
things.
crazy. Because I mean, what could happen is all homeowners policies have, for the most part, all of them have sudden and accidental water damage, which we're in Texas, we know that whenever it freezes, pipes can freeze and burst. So that
Hmm.
is covered in most homeowners policies up to the entire limit of the policy. That also covers hot water heaters exploding, which they can do once they start getting a little bit older. So it does, replacing your water heater does lower the cost of insurance quite a bit.
Right. All right. So let's say a family of four. Um, let's say kids are about to go off to college, so they've got let's say they're twins. So you got four individuals. So you might have as many as four cars. They're looking to buy their first home. Maybe they got a sailboat or an RV too, and so they might have a RV policy, they might have a boat policy insurance, they might have car insurance. Who knows? One of the kids might be on their own insurance policy. And now they're about to buy a house. One of the significant areas to save money on the income is
It's going to be a bundle.
there you go.
It's
What
going to
can
be
you
a
tell me
bundle
about
every
bundles?
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, I run into this a lot where everybody's familiar with car insurance. You've had to have it if you've started driving since you were 16. I mean, that's what you're most familiar with. But whenever it comes to home shopping and shopping for insurance, it makes sense to at least look at bundling. I always tell my clients, at least let me look and compare prices, because at the end of the day, it could save us so much money on the home and you could be paying the exact same on the autos, but it makes sense. And honestly, being loyal to a company or a carrier, they're not giving you any discount for being with them for 10 years. New they give new clients discounts.
Hmm.
And so I always think cannot be married to your insurance carrier. It pays off so much to go shop around, and it pays off to bundle all of those things because you get a discount every single time, and it is the biggest discount that you could get on a home.
There you go. Yeah, insurance. And as a lender, and I would expect them to know that, but insurance is the thing that they can shop for um, when they're buying a home. So that bundle piece I just love that. That just
It's so
saves so
nice.
many. It
It
has.
has. And honestly, like, if you had the opportunity to have all of your things insured under the same company, where you just have to go to one website and you could check on everything, doesn't that make it a lot easier than having them all with five different carriers? It just makes it so much easier having it in one place. And I just less of a headache for sure.
Let's talk about established homes versus new construction here in the North Texas area. There is a lot of new construction. There's a lot of established homes, so there's a lot of growth. So, how does age or condition of a home factor into the cost of insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. Age, it really does depend on the age, but you have to think about it as far as what would it cost to replace the home. These new builds are very straightforward. Okay, it costs this much to replace the home. Okay, the policy is going to cost this much because they just built it. So getting those building materials they're easy to find. It'll be easy to rebuild it exactly as is. Where these older homes, these insurance companies look at them and they're like, okay, well, they stopped manufacturing this, this, and this that's in the home. And whenever a client loses their home, we want to be able to rebuild it to exactly what it is now. And so it'll usually be a more expensive replacement cost because some of those building materials are just either more expensive now or they don't manufacture them and they have to, go out further to try to find them.
Right. Are you seeing in like discounts with energy appliances or energy efficiencies? That I got one other thought on that. How about um, solar panels? Let's come back. Let's answer that first one, then we'll talk about solar panels.
Okay. So yes and no. It depends on the carrier. Some of these carriers that have been around forever, like Farmers or Allstate, you'll see them give out discounts here and there, but you don't see them give out huge discounts for those energy savers, whereas we have some newer carriers who want those homes and are willing to give out bigger discounts for those types of things that you have in the home. And so it's all about just finding the carrier that wants to take on your home. And if they want it, it's usually cheap to insure it.
Okay. So
Solar
on the
panels.
solar panels. I'm seeing them more and more. Um, they've come of age, so people are getting them on their homes. Well, I won't talk about the financing side of solar panels
Mhm.
because that's tricky. But let's on the insurance side, is that in the
It's
homeowner's policy? Is there a mixed bag? What do you got?
Yeah, it's mixed. It's a little tricky over here too. So again, it really does depend on the carrier. If we have a home that has solar panels on it, some carriers don't want to touch it. They won't even take the home if it has solar panels on it. Some of them they will insure the home and then they insure the panels separately, but it has
Mhm.
to be insured. Some of them have the home insured, but the solar panels excluded from the policy, where if they get damaged, they're like, we're not going to pay for those.
Mhm.
Um, it really just varies, but I will say that it's definitely saving these homeowners money on paying for energy, but it's not making insurance any cheaper. It is not making
Mhm.
insurance any cheaper whatsoever. It is making it harder to find a policy for the home. It's not impossible, but if you have solar panels, tell your agent, because the amount of times I have written a policy and that's something that they just didn't mention and I didn't happen to see it, in the Zillow pictures or, get that information from their agent. And then the inspector goes out there and it's like, oh, well, I see 24 solar panels on their roof. Well, we don't insure those. We're canceling the policy. You have to find something in the next 30 days. Happens a lot. So if you have it, just make sure you disclose it with your agent.
Right. All right. So op has nothing to do with solar panels. How about flood zones? We have flood zones in Texas. Sometimes I can think of one city, the entire city is above the flood zone, and that's Salina, Texas, that I know of.
Hmm.
Everywhere else they have flood zones. So
Yes.
what can you tell us there that homeowners buyers need to know?
Yeah, absolutely. So first things first, the homeowner's policy that you're getting for your home, it does not cover flood. It doesn't cover flood, earthquakes, nuclear war, kind of a plethora of things. It covers what you would run into when you had to file a claim on your home.
Uh-huh.
Flood insurance, you have to purchase a separate policy for that. So of course, whenever we run quotes, we usually are able to see if your home is in a flood zone, and we will automatically recommend that to you. But we can't like force you to have it unless you have to have it for your loan, because
Hmm.
you're in a flood zone. But a flood policy is completely separate coverage. It's usually, unless your home is sitting on the lake, it's usually not that expensive to purchase, and it's nice to have just in case. Um, I would say they're usually either around $1,000 or way cheaper, way cheaper. It just depends on what kind of zone you are in.
Right. All right. How about updating a policy? So in the lending world, I'll do them anytime, but I definitely do like an annual mortgage review because people's finances change, their needs, their goals. Maybe somebody in the family's getting married or someone's going off to college, and now refi looks reasonable, or they're downsizing. Want a smaller home, so purchase might be reasonable, or they want to venture off into the investing world with real estate. So how about on the insurance policy? How often should they review or update a policy?
Yeah, so homeowners policy is in effect for a year. So whenever you
Hmm.
sign up, you have that coverage for a year. Now you can change it at any time. Again, you don't have to be married to it. You literally can switch companies at any time. But I always recommend they every carrier has to send you a renewal at least 30 to 60 days in advance. Sometimes they'll send it
Hmm.
even further out in advance. Just keep an eye on your email. When you get those emails from those companies, you'll see if your premium is going up. You'll see what it is. And because me as an agent, unless it goes past, I think it's 25%, I don't get notified unless it's just an insane renewal and it's increasing a lot. And I have a lot of customers that I work with daily. So I would just keep an eye out on those things, review it once a year, and just make sure that, if your home is getting older, it probably will get more expensive. And if there's anything that you can do, any discounts that you can add, just call your agent and ask what you can do to get it down. And it might just mean switching companies, switching carriers.
Okay. Okay. So they get the home, they've got the insurance policy. Now what? What happens? There's a tornado, or the neighbor is texting and driving and ends up in their front living room with the vehicle. Um, I mean, it happens. So
It,
what do they do? They go, "Oh, I've got, my house has been damaged." Is there a process there? Who do they call? When do they call them? How soon should they call them? How soon should they reach out to the insurance agent?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, this is a funny story. I mean, a few weeks ago when there was the really high winds in Dallas, I had a client call me and she was like, "Hey, I don't know if I'm supposed to call you or not, or if I'm supposed to get a hold of the claims department, but I'm standing outside and I'm watching the shingles get blown off of my roof as I speak to you. What do I
Oh.
need to do?" And so in that case, I am like, call the claims department of the carrier. Now, I mean, over here at Goosehead, we have our own service team. We have our own claims department. We have people who can kind of walk you to the right paths. But I think the most direct way, you're with Safeco Insurance, go on your phone, type in Safeco claims, call that number, get connected to them. They'll usually ask you for like your name and date of birth. Having your policy number on hand is nice, but I know it's always kind of hard to find if you don't have it. And they'll be able to kind of help you out. Now, it's different. I mean, if it's urgent, call claims. Now, if you have been a homeowner for 7 years, you haven't gotten your roof replaced, and you think I can kind of see some damage to my roof. I don't know if it's cosmetic or if it's something that would require us to get a brand new roof. What should I do? I don't know. Don't call the claims department in that scenario, because they could come out there, tell you that they're going to pay $0 because your roof is fine, and now you have a claim on your history, even though it was a $0 payout. I
Hmm.
recommend calling a roofer that you know, getting them out there, let them kind of do an inspection, and they'll tell you, oh, this is just some cosmetic damage. This is about how much it would be. Or, oh, wow, you need to replace this entire roof. Go back to your policy, look at your deductible, and see, is that worth it? Are they only going to be paying $2,000 and I'm paying 5,000, or am I going to pay 5,000 and they're going to pay 30 to replace my roof?
Hmm.
So if it's urgent, call claims. If it's not, call your roofer, call a plumber, go to the shop and get your car looked at before you call insurance.
Okay. All right. Tell me, have you seen, here's some misconceptions in the homeowners insurance policies where homeowners, they might make an improvement on their home that does nothing to improve their insurance, but they call and let you know, and you're like, doesn't do anything. Anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of DIYs now, and going in and completely gutting a house and renovating it to be newer, it does help. But if you're over here replacing your cabinets and getting a farm sink and changing your tile floors in your kitchen to vinyl or whatever, it's not going to affect the insurance. It won't do anything. If
Hmm.
you're replacing your, like, you need to think about what could go wrong in my house that would cause this big disaster that I would have to call insurance for. If that is getting fixed and updated, that will probably help out with the price of your insurance policy. If it's cosmetic, it's not doing anything. Now, if
Right.
you invest a lot into your home cosmetically and you're like, I need more coverage because I just paid a ton of money to have these custom cabinets, you can call your insurance agent and they will put that into the replacement cost that you went from having just basic cabinets to now custom cabinets, and it will
Yeah.
increase the value of the replacement cost on the home. It's just not going to
Right.
give you, if anything, it's going to make insurance more expensive because you're covering more expensive things.
Have you seen anything that insurance agent or insurance companies are like, no, we're not doing this? Like what's outside of the pale of acceptance?
Yeah, so it's funny, but like some of them, if you have a trampoline, they won't touch you. They don't want the liability of having the trampoline. So say it's a windy day, your trampoline flies into your neighbor's wall and I don't know, breaks their window, and then they try to turn around and sue you for the damages that you caused to their house. Insurance companies sometimes don't want to touch that if you have a
Mm.
trampoline. So I would just say take your kids to a trampoline park and avoid the headache.
Mm.
Um,
Go to the indoor
something,
one.
go to the indoor ones. There's so much. They've
Yeah.
got the trampolines are better there anyways.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean those, and then I see some carriers just turn their nose up at dogs, which of course, like, you just have those aggressive breeds.
Hmm.
And even if your dog is, this pit bull and it's just like the cutest, sweetest little thing, I mean, I could think of 5 insurance companies right now that would say like, okay, we're not going to take it. If it's a pit bull, like we're not taking this home because
Yeah.
that dog could get out, it could bite somebody, bam, you've got a lawsuit for $500,000 on your hands. That
Yeah.
insurance is going to pay for to cover you because that's what you pay for insurance. But they won't take it. So just little things like that that you wouldn't even think about
Hmm.
sometimes qualify or disqualify you.
Right. Now you have the advantage that you have the ability to shop the insurance market. So what's one thing you wish a homeowner knew before choosing a policy?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I get to shop. I mean, we have probably over 60 plus carriers. I mean,
Mhm.
the Travelers, Safeco, Progressive, Allstate, all those big names and some smaller names as well. But I think it's just if you're a brand new homeowner, or even you've owned a home and you've just been using Joe that your dad used and your insurance premiums up, so now you're kind
Mhm.
of doing your shopping on your own. Don't go online and search up how to find the cheapest insurance premium. You'll go to a website, you'll fill out all this information, and then what do? They bam sell your information to a bunch of agencies, and you're going to have 100 insurance agents blowing up your phone, trying to call
Mhm.
you, trying to get a quote. I recommend, if you want to shop the market, call a broker that you know is a broker and can shop multiple carriers, and that way you just have one point of contact and you're not just getting blown up by the most random people that just bought your information from the website.
There you go. Yeah. Tell me, in your time as an agent, have you seen it come full circle? Homeowner, they buy a home, they get their insurance policy set up through you. Have you seen any events or know of any stories where you're like, oh, thank God they had insurance?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, the one where I had just set her up with insurance and then she was like, I know that I just switched companies. What do I need to do? The shingles are blowing off of my roof. I've had it where people, I set them up with, say, auto, and they're like, oh my gosh, my son just got into an accident. What do I need to do? And it's nice. Thankfully, I haven't had to deal with that too much. I'm glad a lot of my customers haven't ran into a lot of issues, but I do always make sure that they have, I mean, I like to cover them as much as I possibly can because tweaking the coverage from being like $300,000 in liability coverage to $500,000 is a $20 difference over the entire year, most of the time. And so I'll
Wow.
break things down like that. And I'm like, if you're going to get sued, like you don't have to be a millionaire to get sued like a millionaire. Like you're going to get sued for a lot. You might as well have homeowners insurance paying $500,000 on your behalf for
Hmm.
that instead of 100,000. Like that's a big difference.
Right. The peace of mind of a good policy goes a long, long way.
It really
Uh,
does, and I get that insurance is not people's favorite thing. I understand that because you feel like you're until you have an issue, you feel like you're just throwing money away.
yeah.
But then you would just much rather be throwing an extra $50 away for the entire year to make sure that you're covered rather than when you call in to file a claim, you figure out that your insurance company doesn't cover that full amount. You're actually going to have to be paying
Mhm.
a lot out of pocket.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've talked about claims and coverage and navigating a policy like a pro. Is there something I should have asked you that I didn't ask you?
I mean, I really can't think of anything. I feel like these are kind of the basics that I always go over with my clients whenever they start asking me questions. I will say that in your experience as a lender, I know that insurance has kind of made closing on homes a little bit harder. We come into like DTI issues, things like that. I will say that if there's ever anything that we can do to lower insurance, like of course I'm always willing to work with my
Mhm.
partners and do what I can because closing on the home is the most important thing. And our clients can revise their policy at any point in time throughout the year. You can call in to make changes on your policies at any time. So
There you
just keep that in mind. It's not locked in. You can go in there, make changes, and you can always change. You don't have to be married to it. So,
That's right. All right, Blake, what is the best ways for somebody can get a hold of you if they're looking to change the policy or get a policy for homeowners insurance or to a bundle? How can they best get a hold of you, Blake?
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, fastest, quickest way is, of course, going to be like phone call or email. So, my phone number, if any of you guys need to reach me, want a quote, it's going to be 214-838-5283. And then my email is just going to be blake.breeding@goosehead.com. And I would say that if you call me or text me or email me, I usually will answer within like at least a day, but I'm going to say it's usually about a 20-minute answer.
Nice. All right. Oh, last question. When you're doing insurance policies, and the lender's got to get a copy up front, and we're not bonded yet. How long's the turnaround time to get a good quote from you?
Oh, I mean, usually if a lender sends me information, as long as I can get a hold of the client, they're ready for me. I will usually talk to them on the phone for about 10 minutes, shop everything I need, call them back, go over it with them, and send things off to the lender under 2 hours.
There
Under
you go.
two. I'm saying two to be generous, just like I was
Yeah.
saying, give me a day to be generous, and like maybe that's a day, a Sunday. I
Hmm.
mean, it's usually immediate. It comes out. I like to deal with it as it comes in. It goes out.
There you go. That's why I refer to y'all. Okay. So Blake, anybody, well, we got your contact information. I will attach it wherever you're listening or watching this. It'll be above or below. It'll be there to reach out to Blake. And I hope y'all have enjoyed this and we'll wrap this up with Between Two Doors. Blake, thank you very much for
Of course. Thank you for having
enlightening
me
us.
on. Yes, thank you for having me on. It's been great.
All right. Bye.
Bye.